I'm a 911 dispatcher. The call that answered before it rang. I've been a 911 dispatcher for 11 years. That's long enough to stop reacting emotionally to most things. You learn patterns. You learn timing. You learn how panic sounds different from fusion, and how silence can mean more than screaming. People assume the worst calls are the loud ones. They're not. The worst calls are the ones that break the system's rules. Because once the system behaves incorrectly, you stop trusting everything else. This happened on a Tuesday night shift. Graveyard. 10:00 p.m. to 6:00 a.m. The slow hours when your brain settles into routine and the console lights feel almost comforting. At 2:17 a.m., my screen lit up. Before the ringtone even reached my headset, the channel was already open. That's the part that still bothers me. Normally there's a sequence, call routes, buffer delay. Audio connects. This skipped all of that. No ring. No alert tone. Just breathing. Not heavy. Not panicked. Slow. Controlled. Close enough to the microphone that I could hear the faint rasp at the back of the throat. I froze for half a second, which is something dispatchers aren't supposed to do. I checked the ANI panel. Valid phone number. Carrier listed. But the ALI address field was blank. Not unknown. Not wireless caller. Blank. I cleared my throat and did what training drills into you. 911. What is your emergency? The breathing stopped immediately. Then my own voice came back through the headset. Same words. Same pacing. Same slight upward inflection I use when I'm trying to sound calm. 911. What is your emergency? I didn't respond right away. I pulled the headset slightly off my ear, just enough to make sure the sound wasn't echoing from my own mic. It wasn't. The line was feeding it back to me. I terminated the call. Logged it as a system anomaly. That should have been the end of it. 2 minutes later, the same channel opened again. No ring. No alert. Just silence. I watched the timer tick upward. 5 seconds. 10. I spoke again. 911. What is your emergency? This time, the voice didn't mirror me. It waited. Then it said, very calmly, you answered faster last time. I remember exactly how my stomach dropped. Because dispatch calls don't comment on procedure. They don't reference timing. And they definitely don't remember previous interactions unless the caller is human and conscious enough to do so. I asked for the caller's location. The ALI panel flickered. For less than a second, an address appeared. Then vanished. I asked again. No response. But the line stayed open. I could hear faint movement now. Not breathing. Not speech. Something like fabric shifting. Like someone adjusting how they're holding the phone. I signaled my supervisor without taking my eyes off the screen. He leaned over, listened for a few seconds, then frowned. What am I listening to? He asked. Before I could answer, the voice spoke again. Is he new? My supervisor straightened immediately. The call disconnected on its own. We stared at the console for a long moment. He told me to step away while he checked the system logs. They showed something that didn't make sense. The call hadn't come in. It had originated internally, not from a desk phone, not from another console, from the system itself. At 3:02 a.m. it happened again. Same channel, same behavior. This time when I answered, the voice said my name. Not shouted, not threatening, just stating it, like it was confirming something. I asked how it knew who I was. It replied, you're always here when the line opens. I muted my mic. My supervisor cut the line manually. He told me to go home early. That night, I didn't sleep. At 4:11 a.m., my personal phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. The voicemail left behind was only 12 seconds long, breathing. Slow, controlled. At exactly the same rhythm as the call. The next night, the call came in again. Different channel. Same behavior. This time, it didn't speak at all. It just stayed open. Listening, I noticed something in the logs that made my hands go cold. Every time the call appeared, the system timestamp showed it connecting 1 second before the official ring event, as if the line was already open, waiting. I asked for a tech audit. They found no intrusion, no spoofing, no malware. The recommendation was simple. Ignore it. If the line opens without a ring, terminate and log. We did that for weeks. The call kept coming, always during my shift, never during anyone else. Eventually, it stopped using the console. It started calling my phone instead. Always at 2:17 a.m., always no caller ID, always silence, followed by one sentence. You were answering slower. I transferred off graveyard shift. 3 months later, the calls stopped. I tell myself that means it was just coincidence, just a system fault tied to scheduling. But last month, my phone rang at 2:17 a.m. again. Different city, different job, same silence, same breathing. And then, your line is still open. Story 2. The caller who knew the outcome. I've been a 911 dispatcher for 9 years. Long enough to know the difference between panic and performance. Long enough to hear when someone is lying, exaggerating, or stalling for time. And long enough to know when a call doesn't sound like it's happening now. This one came in at 1:42 a.m., a Tuesday. Dead zone of the night. No traffic accidents, no bar fights, no domestic noise. Just routine wellness checks and the occasional drunk dial. The line opened without the usual click. No background noise. No breathing. Just a calm male voice. I'm calling about the fire on Oak Ridge Lane. I pulled the address up automatically. Oak Ridge Lane existed. Residential. Quiet. No active incidents. Sir, what's the nature of the fire? I asked. It hasn't started yet. That made me pause. Can you explain what you mean by that? The kitchen will ignite first. Second floor, rear unit. The smoke alarm won't go off because the battery is dead. I glanced at my supervisor's desk. He wasn't looking at me. Dispatchers hear weird phrasing all the time. People confuse timelines under stress. Still, I followed protocol. Sir, is anyone in danger right now? Yes, but they don't know it yet. The CAD system showed no prior calls, no alarms, no sensor triggers. Who is they? I asked. A woman, 2 kids, one asleep on the couch, one upstairs. The woman is on her phone. I felt my shoulders tighten. How do you know this? Because this is when I called last time. I typed faster, forcing my tone steady. Sir, are you at the location right now? No. Then how? I was there when it happened. Something in the way he said was bothered me. Not emotional. Not dramatic. Just factual. I flagged the call and quietly signaled another dispatcher to notify fire dispatch without escalation language. Sir, I said, I need you to stay on the line. I can't. Why not? 'Cause last time I stayed on the line too long. That was when the timestamp froze. I didn't notice it immediately. Just a half-second hesitation on the call timer. Then my console lagged. Sir, I'm losing your audio. At 1:47, the smoke reaches the stairwell. At 1:49, the upstairs child wakes up. I checked the clock. 1:45 a.m. Sir, what is your name? That didn't matter before. My supervisor was looking now. I muted my mic and whispered, Send units. Quietly. Oak Ridge Lane. He frowned. We need confirmation. I unmuted. Sir, are you responsible for this fire? No. Did you start it? I tried to stop it. The call quality dropped suddenly, like the line was being pulled through water. Last time, the fire department arrived at 1:56. Too late for the upstairs bedroom. I swallowed. Sir, listen to me carefully. We have units en route now. You said that before. My screen refreshed. The call ID changed. Same voice. Same address. New call number. 911. What's your emergency? My blood went cold. He was hearing me. From the other end. I didn't answer. The second line disconnected. The first line stayed open. Then, silence. At 1:56 a.m., the fire alarm hit our system. Oak Ridge Lane. Confirmed structure fire. Exactly as described. Afterward, the fire report matched the timeline within seconds. The upstairs bedroom. The smoke alarm battery. The woman on her phone. No suspect was ever identified. But 2 weeks later, during a night shift, I noticed something in the archived calls. There was a recording logged under my dispatcher ID. Timestamp, 1:42 a.m. Caller name Field. Unavailable. And when I played it back, it was my voice. Calm. Professional. Reporting a fire that hadn't started yet. Story 3. The call that was logged before it happened. I've worked emergency dispatch long enough to trust patterns more than instincts. Panic has a rhythm. Confusion has a sound. Real emergencies follow rules, even when people don't. This one didn't follow anything. It started as a routine overnight shift. Tuesday. Just after 2:00 a.m. here, the hour when the city feels hollow, like it's holding its breath. I was the senior dispatcher on duty. 8 years in, calm under pressure, the one supervisors put on nights because I don't spook easily. At 2:11 a.m., my console chirped. Not a call, a system notification. Incident created. Priority 1 location, 1147 Merrill Lane type. Home invasion unknown caller. In a status, open that caught my attention. Because incidents don't generate themselves. Every call starts with a ring, a voice, a panic, a misdial, something. Something. This one appeared fully formed, like someone had already taken the call and vanished halfway through. I checked the queue. No incoming lines. No abandoned calls. No CAD errors. Just an open incident waiting for a dispatcher. I assumed a glitch. Logged it as a phantom entry, flagged it for review, and cleared the screen. 3 minutes later, it came back. Same address. Same classification. Same timestamp. 2:11 a.m. But this time, there was audio attached. A recording. That's when my stomach tightened. Because dispatch recordings don't attach themselves unless a call has already ended. And this one was still marked unanswered. I hesitated. Then I hit play. At first, there was nothing but room tone. No breathing. No background noise. Then a woman's voice. Low and controlled. I know this isn't how it works, but I don't have time. She wasn't whispering. She wasn't screaming. She sounded like someone dictating instructions. There's someone in my house, upstairs. He's not rushing. He's waiting. I froze, not because of the content. I'd heard worse, but because of the timestamp. The system showed the recording's creation time as 2:14 a.m. It was 2:13 when I was listening to it. The audio hadn't been recorded yet. I checked the metadata 3 times. Same result. I did the only thing protocol allows. I tried to call the address. No ringback. No voicemail. Just dead air, like the line didn't exist. I alerted my supervisor. He leaned over my shoulder, brows furrowed. Could be a test file, he said, or corrupted cache. Then the recording continued, on its own. You're going to ask me where I am. The front bedroom. 2nd floor. Left side. My supervisor stiffened. The audio wasn't playing from the start anymore. It was live, but the system still showed no active call. You'll ask if I can leave. I can't. The hallway creaks. My mouth went dry. I hadn't said a word, but she was responding to procedures every dispatcher learns in their first month. You're thinking about sending officers now? You should, but don't tell them to knock. The CAD suddenly updated. Units dispatched. Auto-assigned that had never happened before. Patrol cars acknowledged within seconds, confused but compliant. I keyed my mic, trying to sound steady. Units en route to Merrill Lane. Possible in-progress home invasion. Caller information. Unclear. The recording resumed. If you're listening to this live, you're already late. I glanced at the system clock. 2:17 a.m. The call log timestamp changed. Now it claimed the call had begun at 2:17, which was now. The audio cut. A new line rang. Same address. Same woman. I answered. 911. What's your emergency? Silence. Then. You didn't warn them. I whispered. Ma'am, officers are on the way. Stay on the line. He doesn't care about. Story 4. The caller who knew my name. I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for a little over 9 years now. Graveyard shift. Midnight to 8 in the morning. People think dispatchers just answer phones and send police. What we actually do is listen to panic, to confusion, to lies, to people realizing something is wrong long before anyone else does. This happened on a Tuesday night. Technically, Wednesday morning. The room was quiet. Too quiet for a city this size. Just the hum of servers, the occasional radio traffic from patrol units, and the ticking of the wall clock above my console. 2:41 a.m. That's when my line lit up. No honey, no location data, no call history. That alone was unusual. Not impossible, but rare. I answered the way I always do. 91111. What's your emergency? There was breathing on the line. Slow, controlled, not panic, not scared. Then a man spoke. You need to stop typing. I froze. Dispatchers type constantly. Every call, every word, every second is logged. My fingers were already moving on the keyboard out of muscle memory. I'm sorry, sir, I said, keeping my voice neutral. I need you to tell me what's happening. You're logging this under suspicious circumstances, he replied calmly. Delete that. I looked at my screen. That was exactly the category the system had auto-selected. I hadn't said it out loud. Sir, I said carefully, how do you know what I'm doing right now? A pause. Then, because you always do the same thing. That sent a chill up my arms. Dispatchers follow protocols, yes, but no caller should know internal system behavior, let alone predict it in real time. Can you tell me your location? I asked. No, he said. And if you try to trace the call, it will drop. I hovered my mouse over the trace function. Didn't click it. Why are you calling 911? I asked. To let you know you're about to take a call you shouldn't. The room felt colder. Not physically, just that sensation you get when your body realizes something before your brain does. What kind of call? I asked. The one at 2:47. I glanced at the clock. 2:43. You'll recognize the voice, he continued. It's someone who knows you. My stomach tightened. Sir, are you threatening someone? I asked. No, he said. I'm warning you. Radio traffic crackled in my headset. Routine status checks. Nothing unusual. Who are you? I asked. Another pause. Then he said my name. Not just my first name. My full name. Pronounced correctly. Dispatchers' names are not public-facing. We don't give them out. They don't show up on caller ID. They aren't attached to calls. How do you know that? I asked, my voice lower now. I've heard it before, he said. Tonight, and other nights. I swallowed. What happens at 2:47? I asked. You answer a domestic disturbance, he replied. Third floor apartment, female caller, whispering. Says someone is in the house. That description alone wasn't unusual. But then he added, shall use the same words your sister used. I stopped breathing. My sister had called 911 once, years ago. Different city, different state, different life. That call was sealed due to a fatality. You don't send anyone, the man continued. If you do, it resets. Resets what? I asked. The night? The clock ticked. 2:45. Sir, listen to me, I said. If you know something about an active threat, I need details. You won't like the details, he replied, and you won't be allowed to keep them. My screen flickered. Just for a fraction of a second. When it stabilized, the system log showed something impossible. A call entry timestamp 2:47. Logged. Closed. Disposition. Caller disconnected. But it was only 2:45. You see it now, the man said. I didn't answer. You always see it, he continued. That's when you start shaking. He was right. 2:46. My radio came alive. Unit 12 requesting status update. I ignored it. Why are you doing this? I asked. Because once someone warned me, he said. And I didn't listen. 2:47. My phone rang. New call. Domestic disturbance. Third floor apartment. Female caller. Whispering. She said the first line before I could even finish my greeting. And it was word for word what my sister had said years ago. I didn't send anyone. I logged the call as non-actionable. The system auto-flagged it. I overrode it. The line went dead. I looked back at the first call. Disconnected. Story 5. The call that wouldn't release the line. I've worked emergency dispatch long enough to know when a call is over. There's a sound to it. A click, a disconnect tone. The line clears. The system resets, and the console moves on. This one didn't. It came in at 3:06 a.m., midweek quiet shift. Ani showed a valid mobile number. Ali returned a general tower location. Nothing precise, but normal for that area. I answered. 911, what's your emergency? No response. I waited. 10 seconds. 15. Then I heard it. Not breathing. Not movement. A low constant pressure sound. Like a phone pressed against fabric. Open line? Protocol says you stay on the call. Listen, try to establish contact. 911, if you can hear me, please say something. Nothing. I typed open line. No response and flagged it for monitoring. After 60 seconds, I initiated a callback. The system rang. Once, twice. Then the call answered itself. No ringback tone. No greeting. Just the same pressure sound. Now closer. I pulled the headset slightly off my ear. It wasn't feedback. Sir or Mom, I said. This is 911. If you're in danger, make a noise. The sound stopped. For half a second there was silence. Then a woman spoke. I can hear you typing. My fingers froze above the keyboard. That's good, she continued calmly. That means you haven't released the line. I need you to tell me what's happening, I said. I can't, she replied. Not yet. Her voice wasn't distressed, not confused. It sounded like someone following instructions. Mom, are you in danger right now? Yes, she said immediately. But not from what you think. I signaled my supervisor with one hand, keeping my voice level. Where are you calling from? There was a pause, then, I don't know. The alley data flickered. For a moment, a street address populated, then vanished. Have you moved since you called? I asked. No, she said, but the line has. That didn't make sense. Calls don't move unless the phone moves. Can you tell me what you see around you? I asked. I'm not supposed to describe it. She replied. They said that's how it stays connected. My supervisor leaned in closer now, listening. Who said that? I asked. You, she answered. My stomach tightened. I've never spoken to you before, I said. Another pause. Yes, she replied. That's the problem. The call timer passed 4 minutes. Normally open lines drop. Carriers release them. This one stayed solid. Mom, I said, I'm going to send officers to your location. No, she said quickly. If you do, it will disconnect. Why? Because it always does. I typed a note instead, marking the call for silent trace. The system rejected it. Not failed. Rejected. The console flashed a warning I'd never seen before. Line control? External? I didn't even know that was a possible state. Are you still there? I asked. Yes, she said. You're trying to end it now. I'm trying to help you. I know, she replied. That's why they keep letting you answer. Who's they? She exhaled slowly. The ones who don't hang up. The audio crackled. For a moment I heard something else on the line. Another voice, distant, overlapping hers. Not speaking. Listening. Mom, I said, my voice lower now. If you're in danger, you need to tell me. I already did, she said. I just didn't tell you where. The call timer hit 6 minutes. My supervisor reached for the manual disconnect override. Wait, I whispered, because the woman was speaking again. They said if you release the line, I don't get another chance. Another chance for what? To be heard. The line went dead. The console didn't reset. The timer kept running. 6 minutes. 7. The system still showed active call. No audio. No carrier data. Just connection. We tried everything. Manual release. System reset. Supervisor override. Nothing worked. At 3:23 a.m., the line finally dropped on its own. The console refreshed. No call log. No recording. like it never happened. Except for one thing. At the bottom of my notes field. Text I hadn't typed. Story 6. The night the radio answered back. I've been a 911 dispatcher long enough to trust radios more than phones. Phones lie. They drop. They distort. Radios don't. Every transmission is logged. Every unit hears the same thing. There's accountability built into the air. That's why this night still bothers me. It started with a routine traffic stop. Unit 23. State route. Mile marker 18. Nothing unusual. Driver compliant. Paperwork check. I had the radio patch open, one ear on the units, the other on the call queue. At 1:58 a.m., a phone line opened. No ringtone, just audio. I answered automatically. 911, what's your emergency? Instead of a voice, I heard radio static. Not phone static, radio static. That shouldn't happen. Phone lines and radio channels are isolated systems. They don't cross unless a dispatcher actively patches them together. I checked my console. No patch active. Sir or ma'am, you're calling 911. Can you hear me? The static changed. It tuned, like someone slowly turning a dial. Then a male voice cut through. Tight, clipped, professional. Dispatch, say again. I froze. That was a unit's cadence. Unit calling, identify, I said into the mic. Unit 23. The voice replied. Repeat your last. Unit 23 was already talking to me. On the radio. I glanced at the radio console. Unit 23's channel was open. He was mid-sentence, asking for a plate check. And yet, the phone line spoke again. Dispatch, you're breaking up. I muted the phone line and keyed the radio. 23. Confirm. Are you transmitting right now? Affirmative, he said. Why? Because his voice on the radio did not match the voice on the phone. Same phrasing, same discipline, different tone. I unmuted the phone. Who is this? I asked. Silence. Then, dispatch, the phone said. I can hear myself. My skin prickled. Where are you calling from? I asked. From your radio. Unit 23 cut in on the radio channel. Voice tense now. Dispatch, I'm getting feedback. Someone's repeating me. Other units acknowledged. They heard it too. The phone line crackled. Then it transmitted Unit 23's last sentence back to us. Half a second late. Perfectly. Kill the patch, my supervisor whispered. There is no patch, I replied. The radio lit up with chatter. Control, I'm hearing myself. Dispatch, is someone rebroadcasting? Negative on interference. This is coming through clear. The phone line spoke again. This time it used my voice. Copy. Stand by. I hadn't said that. Every unit heard it. The room went quiet. I didn't breathe. Dispatch, Unit 23 asked carefully. Was that you? No, I said. That wasn't me. The phone line responded immediately. Negative. That was you. I slammed the phone mute and looked at my supervisor. He nodded once. Clear the air, he said. All units, switch to secondary channel. I keyed the mic. All units, move to channel 2. They complied. The primary channel went silent. The phone line didn't. Static surged, louder now. Then, a new voice. Calm. Close. Dispatch, it said. You don't need them to hear this. My heart thudded. What do you want? I asked. A pause. Confirmation. Of what? That the radio reaches further than you think. The phone line clicked. Disconnected. At the same moment, the radio console chirped. Primary channel reopened on its own. A single transmission came through. No unit ID. No call sign. Just this. Control acknowledged. Then silence. We ran diagnostics for hours. No rogue transmitters. No open mics. No cross-patch logs. Official conclusion. Atmospheric interference. But here's what they don't put in the report. When Unit 23 returned to the station at end of shift, he asked me a question. What did I say? He asked. Right before everything went wrong. I checked the log. You said, dispatch, copy. Standing by. He shook his head. I never said that. The next week, during a slow night, the radio hissed softly on the primary channel. No transmission. Just open air. And for a split second, I heard breathing. Story 7. The body cam that heard the call first. I've been a 911 dispatcher long enough to trust recordings. Audio doesn't lie. It captures what people miss. That's why every call, every transmission, every body cam clip matters. Until the night the body cam heard something before I did. It started as a welfare check, routine, low priority. A neighbor reported a light on in an apartment that had been vacant for months. No noise, no movement. Just a glow that hadn't gone out. At 2:09 a.m., I dispatched Unit 41. Single officer, quiet building. 3rd floor. Radio traffic was clean. No interference, no crosstalk. 41 en route, he said. I watched his GPS icon move through the city grid, steady and unremarkable. The kind of call you forget 5 minutes after it closes. At 2:16 a.m. he arrived. Dispatch, I'm on scene, he said. Building's quiet. I acknowledged and stayed on the channel. Then my console flagged something odd. Body cam audio. Live feed if available that shouldn't happen. Body cam audio doesn't stream live to dispatch unless a supervisor manually opens it. We usually only access it after the fact. I assumed it was a system glitch and ignored it. Then I heard my own voice in my headset. 911, what's your emergency? I froze. That phrase wasn't coming from the phone line. It was coming from the body cam feed. I checked my call queue. No incoming calls, no open lines. Nothing. But the body cam audio continued. A woman's voice answered, quiet, breathy. There's someone in my apartment. I felt my pulse spike. I keyed the radio. 41? Do you have someone with you? No, he replied. I'm alone. The body cam audio kept playing. Same woman. Same calm panic. He's standing in the hallway. I muted my mic and leaned closer to the screen. The timestamp on the body cam feed read 2:18 a.m. It was 2:17. The audio was ahead of real time. I keyed up again. 41, I'm hearing audio on your body cam. Are you speaking to anyone? Silence. Dispatch. I haven't made entry yet. The body cam audio continued anyway. Footsteps echoed faintly. Not his. Lighter. Bare, then the woman whispered. I looked at the radio log. No such call existed. 41, I said, keeping my voice level. Hold position. Do not enter. He exhaled audibly over the radio. Dispatch, he said. I'm hearing something too. What do you hear? I asked. A pause. Then, my radio just said my name. The body cam audio cut sharply, replaced by silence. Then the feed resumed. Different now. A male voice. Close. Controlled. You're early, it said. The words didn't come through the radio. They came through the body cam feed only. 41, I said, my heart pounding. What are you seeing? I'm at the door, he replied. It's open. I told you not to enter. I didn't, he said. It was already open. The body cam audio shifted again. I could hear the building's acoustics now. A hollow echo, like an empty stairwell. Then my own voice again. Calm, professional. Units are on the way. Stay on the line. I hadn't said that. Every hair on my arm stood up. 41, I said slowly. The audio I'm hearing, it hasn't happened yet. He didn't respond. Instead, the body cam played a sound that made my stomach drop. A knock. 3 slow taps. From inside the apartment. Then the woman spoke again. Only this time her voice sounded farther away. Why didn't you listen? The feed glitched. Static. Compression artifacts. Then nothing. Dead air. I slammed the supervisor alert. Backup units were dispatched immediately. 41. I called again. Status check. No response. For 40 seconds, the channel stayed silent. Then his radio clicked on. I'm clear, he said. Voice steady. Normal? I checked the unit, he continued. It's empty. No sign. Story 8. The call that showed up on the body cam first. I've been a 911 dispatcher long enough to know the order of things. Calls come in. Dispatch happens. Units arrive. Body cams record. Body cams record. That's the chain. Break it, and nothing makes sense. This call broke it from the start. It was a slow night, late winter, midweek. No major incidents, just the low hum of servers and the occasional radio check. At 2:03 a.m., Unit 19 keyed up. Dispatch, he said, uncertain. I'm getting audio on my body cam. I frowned. Confirm. 19. Are you on a call? No, he replied. I'm parked, engine off. I checked CAD. No calls pending. No open incidents. No body cam stream requested. Describe the audio, I said. He hesitated. Describe the audio, I said. He hesitated. It sounds like you. That got my attention. What do you mean, May? I asked. He took a breath. Your voice. Saying the greeting. I pulled his unit profile and opened the technical pane. His body cam showed rec. Off. That's when the console chimed. Body cam audio. Buffer detected. Had never seen that flag before. 19. I said carefully. What exactly is playing? 911, what's your emergency? He replied. Then a woman answers. My stomach tightened. I checked the call queue again. Still empty. No calls have come in, I said. Stay where you are. He didn't respond right away. Then, dispatch. The audio's continuing. I leaned closer to my screen as the body cam feed opened. Audio only. I heard myself. Clear. Professional. Clear. Professional. 911, what's your emergency? A woman replied. Quiet. Breath controlled. There's someone outside my door. I felt the room narrow. I hadn't taken that call. The body cam timestamp read 2:05 a.m. It was 2:04. The audio was ahead. 19, I said. Do not move. I'm escalating. Copy, he said. But dispatch, the audio says you're sending me. I swallowed. 19, I am not dispatching you. The body cam audio continued anyway. Units are on the way, my voice said. Stay inside. Lock the door. That's not in our script. 19 whispered. No. I agreed. It's not. The woman on the audio sounded calmer now. Thank you, she said. He's still there. A civilian address populated on the map, 2 blocks from Unit 19's location. But no incident existed. 19, I said. Is there a residence near you matching? He cut in. I can see the building. My pulse jumped. What building? The one she's in. Describe it. 3-story walk-up, porch light on. The body cam audio added something new. A sound, a faint knock. Not loud. Not urgent. 3 slow taps. 19, I said sharply. Do not approach. I'm not, he said. I'm still in my car. The knock repeated on the audio. Then a male voice, low and close. You called early. I slammed the supervisor alert. At that exact moment, my call queue lit up. Incoming call. Priority unknown timestamp. 2:06 a.m. I answered with shaking hands. 911, what's your emergency? The woman answered. Live this time. There's someone outside my door. Her address matched the map. Everything aligned, except one thing. Mom, I said. Are you speaking to an officer right now? No, she replied. I haven't opened the door. I muted my mic and glanced at the body cam feed. The audio had reached the end. Static. Then silence. The body cam timestamp rolled back, syncing itself to real time. 19, I said, status. He exhaled. Audio stopped. Did you hear the knock? I asked. Yes, he said, but it wasn't on the street. Where was it? He didn't answer immediately. Then, from my radio. Backup units were dispatched properly this time. They arrived to find a man standing in the hallway. No weapon, no forced entry, no crime committed. He claimed he was at the wrong address. The woman was shaken but unharmed. The incident closed cleanly. Story 9. The call that came from 2 places at once. I've worked 911 long enough to know when the system duplicates something by accident. It happens. A dropped packet, a routing hiccup, a momentary echo that clears as soon as you refresh the screen. This wasn't that. This call didn't echo. It split. It came in at 1:36 a.m. Quiet shift. 2 dispatchers on the floor. Low traffic. My console chimed once. Incoming call. Wireless, I answered. 911. What's your emergency? A woman spoke immediately. Breathing fast. Controlled panic. I need help. Someone's in my house. I pulled up Ani Ali. Valid number. Location pinged to the east side of the city. Mom, what's your address? I asked. She gave it cleanly. Street number. Apartment letter. I started typing when my peripheral vision caught something else. My secondary console lit up. Same number, same caller, same time. At first, I thought it was a delayed mirror. Sometimes calls bounce between positions before settling. But both consoles showed active call. 2 timers, both running. I looked at the other dispatcher. You seeing this? I asked. He nodded slowly. Yeah, I spoke again into my headset. Mom, I'm with you. Are you in a safe place? Yes, she said. I'm locked in the bedroom. The other console answered back. With the same woman. But a different sentence. I can hear him in the kitchen. My blood went cold. I hadn't asked that yet. I muted my mic and listened. Both lines were live. Both speaking. Out of sync. The left console's woman was whispering, describing footsteps near the door. The right console's woman was calmer, answering questions I hadn't asked yet. Same voice, same cadence, same fear. Different moments. I keyed the radio quietly, flagging a supervisor. Possible duplicate call. Same on I. 2 active instances. He leaned in, eyes narrowing. Split call, he asked. No, I said. They're diverging. I unmuted the left line. Mom, stay with me. Officers are on the way. She exhaled sharply. Don't send them yet. Why not? Because he's listening. The right console spoke again, half a second later. Don't send them yet. My supervisor looked at me now. I switched lines. Ma'am, I said into the right channel. Can you tell me where he is? In the hallway, she replied. He stopped moving. The left channel responded. He stopped moving. But the tone was different. Tighter. Closer. I checked the timestamps. The right console was 5 seconds ahead of the left. The right was the future. The left was catching up. Mom? I said carefully. I need you to confirm. Are you alone in the bedroom? The right channel answered first. Yes. The left followed. Yes. My chest felt tight. The supervisor whispered, kill one line. I don't know which one is real, I said. He didn't answer. The right channel's woman gasped suddenly. He's at the door. The left channel still described the hallway. I dispatched units based on the right console. Silent approach. No sirens. The right channel went quiet. Breathing. Soft. Close to the mic. The left channel caught up. He's at the door. I heard a sound on the right channel. A faint scrape. Then a knock. 1, 2, 3. The left channel still hadn't reached that point. I said her name, hoping grounding would work. Ma'am, listen to me. Officers are almost there. The right channel answered. They're too late. The left channel went silent, disconnected. The right stayed open. I heard movement, not footsteps, weight shifting, then a male voice, low, calm. You picked the wrong one. The line dropped. Both consoles cleared at once. No recording saved. No CAD entry remained. As if the call never existed, except for one thing. The responding officers arrived at the address. Door locked, no forced entry. Woman shaken but unharmed. She told them someone had been in her house, but left just before they arrived. When they asked if she'd stayed on the phone with 911, she shook her head. I hung up, she said, when he knocked. Later, during system review, it found a single anomaly. For 7 minutes, our center had routed one call as 2 concurrent events. Story 10. The call that didn't end after we closed the case. I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for almost 11 years. Long enough to know the difference between a bad night and a normal one that just feels bad because you're tired. This wasn't either. This was a resolved call, officially, The call came in at 2:41 a.m., a residential disturbance. Female caller. Calm, but strained voice. Not panicked, not hysterical. That always gets my attention more than screaming. She said, "Someone is inside my house. I can hear them moving." I followed protocol. Verified address, cross-checked unsettling. Single-family home, suburban edge. No prior violent calls at that location. Units were close. 2 patrol cars within 4 minutes. I stayed on the line. She didn't whisper, didn't cry. She spoke like someone giving instructions they'd already practiced. He is not breaking things, he is walking. Slow. Like he's checking rooms. I asked where she was. In the laundry room. Door locked. I could hear it then. Faint background audio. A rhythmic sound. Footsteps maybe. But not rushed, no shuffling. Measured. Body cams activated. Standard response. Then the woman said something that made me pause. "I don't think he knows I'm here anymore." I asked what she meant. He stopped looking. That's not something people usually say in the middle of a break-in. I kept her talking. Asked about windows, pets, anything that would keep her focused and responsive. Then the lead unit arrived on scene. I heard the radio click. Dispatch were on location. Front door secure. No signs of forced entry. The woman stopped talking. I called her name, asked if she was still with me. She replied immediately. "He's leaving." I asked how she knew. The sound changed. The second unit arrived. Officers began a full sweep. Room by room. I stayed on the call the entire time. I could hear radio traffic layered over her breathing. I could hear her exhale when the officers announced, "Clear" on the laundry room. Everything lined up. No suspect found. No entry points. No missing property. No signs of struggle. The officers chalked it up to a possible neighbor noise, house settling, or stress response. I marked the call resolved. That's where it should have ended. But the line didn't disconnect. The CAD showed the call as closed. The incident number finalized. Units cleared and back in service. But my headset still had an open channel. I thought it was a glitch. I said, "Ma'am, officers are clear. You're safe. I'm disconnecting now." I clicked end. The waveform didn't drop. The timer stopped, but the audio didn't. I heard her breathing, very slowly. I checked the call status again. No active call, no open incident, but the audio was still live. I asked it later. They said that shouldn't be possible. Once a call is closed, the line is dead. There is no ghost channel, no limbo state. I tried disconnecting again, still there. Then she spoke. "He didn't leave." My stomach tightened. I asked her to repeat herself. She didn't answer. Instead, Story 11. You already sent them. I've been a 911 dispatcher for just over 9 years. Night shift, mid-sized county. Nothing special. Nothing special. People like to imagine dispatch as chaos, screening callers, constant emergencies. Most nights aren't like that. Most nights are paperwork, routine traffic stops, domestic arguments that burn out before units arrive. You learn to trust the system. Call comes in. You verify the address. You dispatch units. You log the time. Everything follows a sequence. That night didn't. It was a Tuesday. 2:38 a.m., quiet enough that I was halfway through a cup of bad coffee and debating whether to reheat it. The line lit up. No ANI. No LA. Just open line. That happens sometimes. Old phones, VoIP glitches, accidental dials. Procedure is simple. Answer, identify, listen. 911. What's your emergency? There was breathing on the other end. Close to the mic. Controlled. Not panicked. Then a man spoke. They're already here. I paused, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "Sir," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "Who's already there?" A short silence. "You sent them." That caught my attention. Dispatchers get callers who think help is coming all the time. People mishear radios, people assume. But protocol matters. "I haven't dispatched anyone yet," I said. "I need your address." Another pause. Then he said very calmly, "You already sent them. They're standing outside my door." I glanced at the CAD screen. No pending calls at that address, because I didn't have one yet. "Sir, I still need your location." He exhaled slowly, like I was the one slowing things down. "Apartment 3B, blue building. The unit with the flickering porch light." My stomach tightened. That description matched nothing in our system. No address auto-filled. No cross-street suggestions. Just empty fields. "Can you give me a street name?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he said, "They didn't knock." I muted my mic for half a second and checked the unit status board. Every patrol unit was accounted for. 2 running traffic. 1 on a hospital standby. 1 refueling. No one was en route anywhere near an apartment complex. "Sir," I said, unmuting, "I haven't sent any officers to you. Can you tell me what's happening?" His voice lowered. "They're just standing there, like they're waiting for permission." I felt a chill creep up my arms. "Are they wearing police uniforms?" I asked. Another pause. "Yes. I dispatched a unit anyway. Protocol overrides uncertainty. Stay on the line with me," I said, typing fast. "Officers are being sent now." He laughed. Not hysterical, not nervous, just amused. "That's what I'm telling you," he said. "You already sent them." The unit acknowledged dispatch. ETA 6 minutes. I watched the timer start. "Sir," I said, "do you see any marked vehicles outside?" "Yes." "How many?" "2. That didn't match what I sent. I dispatched 1 unit." My screen flickered. Just once. The call timer reset. Back to 00. I froze. Calls don't do that. "Sir," I said slowly, "have you called 911 before tonight?" "Yes." "When?" Another long silence. Then, later, my unit radioed in early. Too early. "Dispatch," the officer said, voice tense. "We're on scene." I stared at the clock. They shouldn't have been there yet. "What do you see?" I asked. A pause on the radio. Then, nothing. My caller spoke at the same time. "They just left." My heart started pounding. "Left how?" I asked. "They turned around," he said. "Walked back to their cars. I checked the officer's GPS. His unit wasn't moving." "Dispatch," the officer said again. "Are you sure this is the right address? There's no blue building here. No apartments. Just an empty lot." The caller sighed. "That's because they're not for you." I muted the radio. "Sir?" I said quietly. "Who did you think you called?" "You," he replied immediately. "And who do you think they were?" Silence, then footsteps. Heavy, slow, not on the phone, in the background. "They're back," he whispered. I unmuted the radio. "Unit, clear the area immediately." "Dispatch," the officer said, confused. "We haven't made contact with anyone." The caller spoke one last time. "They don't like being interrupted." The line went dead. "Call status. Resolved. Automatically." I didn't mark it that way. The unit cleared the call. No contact. No structures. No vehicles. An hour later, my supervisor pulled me aside. She asked why I dispatched units to a non-existent address. I showed her the call log. It wasn't there. No open line. No voice recording. No CAD entry. Nothing, except one thing. In the unit history, under previous responses, there was an entry timestamped 6 minutes before the call came in. Welfare check. Unconfirmed location. Cleared by units that weren't on duty that night. I don't work Tuesdays anymore, and when callers tell me help is already there, I believe them. Because sometimes, dispatch doesn't send units forward. Sometimes, it sends them back. Story 12. You already sent them. I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for almost 9 years. Long enough to know that real fear doesn't come from screaming callers. It comes from calm ones, the ones who already think help is on the way. This happened on a Tuesday night shift. No storms, no major incidents, just the low hum of the call floor and the soft clicking of keyboards. At 2:17 a.m., my console chimed with an incoming call. No Ani location at first. Just a raw line, which happens sometimes. I answered. 911. What's the address of your emergency? The man on the line didn't sound panicked, didn't sound drunk, didn't sound confused. He sounded relieved. Oh, he said. You already sent them? I paused. I haven't dispatched anyone yet, sir. I need your address. There was a brief silence. Then he said, slower this time. They're outside. Lights off. I felt that familiar tightening in my chest. Sir, I show no units assigned. What's your location? He hesitated like he was listening to something else. They're walking up now. I checked the CAD again. No call history, no pending dispatch, no units anywhere near his line. Sir, I said carefully, can you confirm the address? He exhaled through his nose. That's strange, he said. You already knew where I was last time. Last time when? Another pause. Before you hung up. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I haven't disconnected, sir. This is our first contact. His breathing changed then. Quicker, sharper. No, he said. This is the second time. You told me to stay inside. You said they were 2 minutes out. I glanced at the supervisor's desk. She was busy on another line. I pulled up the call log manually. There it was. Same number, same timestamp, marked cleared, unfounded, logged 4 minutes earlier. I had no memory of taking it. Sir, I said, can you describe who's outside? They're wearing dark uniforms, he said. No names. No patches I can see. My skin went cold. What are they doing now? They stopped moving. I heard something faint through the line, not voices. Footsteps. Then nothing. Sir, I said. Are they law enforcement? He whispered. They're waiting. I broke protocol and flagged the line to my supervisor. She leaned over, glanced at my screen, frowned. There's no dispatch, she said quietly. Did you tone anyone? I shook my head. On the caller's line, the man spoke again. You hear that? He asked. Hear what? The radio? I froze, because at that exact moment, one of our field radios crackled. Unkied, no unit ID. And through it came a voice. Muffled, close, dispatch. We're on scene. My supervisor stared at the radio. That unit doesn't exist, she said. On the phone, the man spoke one last time. They're at the door now. I heard a knock, not loud, not urgent, just slow, deliberate. Then the line went dead. No disconnect tone, just silence. We traced the number. It belonged to an address that had been condemned and unoccupied for 3 years. No power, no utilities, no residents. No responding units were ever found. But when I reviewed the audio the next morning, there was something new. At the very beginning of the call, before I answered, a dispatcher's voice could be heard faintly on the recording. My voice, saying, help is already on the way. I took the rest of the week off. To this day, that call still shows in the system. Status, responded. But no one can tell me who responded. And sometimes, when the floor is quiet at night, the radio crackles on its own. And I swear I hear someone say, Dispatch, we're still here. Story 13. You already sent them. I've worked nights in dispatch long enough to recognize patterns. The way a caller breathes when they're lying. The delay before they give an address when they're hiding something. The difference between panic and performance. That's how you survive this job, by learning what normal sounds like. This call didn't sound normal. It came in at 2:17 a.m., same as so many others, routed cleanly through the system. No static. No dropped packets. Ani and alley populated instantly. Residential address on the edge of town. Newer subdivision. Nothing flagged. The caller was a woman, mid-30s maybe, voice steady in a way that didn't match the situation she was describing. 911, what's your emergency? There was a pause, not hesitation, recognition. They're already on the way, she said. I checked the CAD. No open calls, no pending units, no pre-alerts. My console was clean. I don't show any responders en route, I told her. What's happening at your location? Another pause, then a faint exhale, like relief. You sent them already, she said. 2 cars. They passed the mailbox about a minute ago. I glanced at the timestamp. 2:17:43. No unit had keyed up. No AVO movement anywhere near her address. Mom, I said, keeping my voice even. I haven't dispatched anyone yet. Can you tell me what you're seeing? Her voice dropped. They didn't turn their lights on. That got my attention. Who is they? I asked. Police, she said, like that should have been obvious. 2 of them, dark cars. I opened a new incident, typed fast. RP reports PD already en route. Dispatcher shows no units assigned. I flagged it as priority and reached for the radio to notify the nearest patrol sector. Before I could key up, she spoke again. They're at the door now. I froze. The address was 12 minutes from the nearest unit. On a good night. Ma'am, I need you to verify, I said. Are you sure it's law enforcement? Yes, she said. They're standing where the porch light doesn't reach. My screen chimed. A system notification blinked once and disappeared. I hadn't touched anything. Can you see their uniforms? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. No, she said slowly. But they're wearing what they're supposed to wear. I felt a cold line settle between my shoulders. Do not open the door, I said. I'm dispatching officers now. That's what you said last time. I stopped typing. Last time? I asked. She sounded confused by the question. Before, you told me to wait. You said help was coming. I checked the call history by her number. No prior calls tonight, none this week, none ever. Ma'am, listen to me carefully, I said. I need you to stay on the line. Do not open the door for anyone until I confirm units with lights and sirens. The radio crackled, unprompted. A hot mic hiss, then silence. No unit ID. On her end, I heard a sound I couldn't place at first. Soft. Rhythmic. Knuckles. Dispatcher, she whispered. They're knocking. I keyed the radio hard. Any unit in Sector 3 respond priority 2. I read the address aloud. The channel stayed dead. They stopped, she said. They're waiting. My CAD updated itself. 2 units appeared on the map, stationary at the end of her street. Unit numbers assigned, officer names populated. I hadn't dispatched them. Mom, I said carefully. Do you see the cars now? Yes, she said. They moved back to the curb. The units on my screen began rolling forward. Their AVL traces advanced in perfect sync like mirrors. I tried to cancel the call. The button grayed out. Mom, I said. Are there markings on the vehicles? She hesitated. There are, she said, but they're not staying still. The radio came alive. Dispatch, a male voice said. Calm, professional. We're on scene. My heart slammed. Unit. Identify, I said. No response. The caller spoke over him, softly. See? You already sent them. The 2 units on my screen changed status automatically. On scene. I hadn't confirmed arrival. I hadn't logged anything. Mom, I said, I need you to tell me exactly what's happening right now. Her voice trembled for the first time. They're closer than before, she said. They know where the cameras don't look. I heard the door handle rattle, metal on metal, through the phone. Mom, do not open the door, I said, my voice tight now. Units, advise. The radio cut me off. Dispatch. The same male voice said, closer now, like he was standing beside my console. Shay's safe. You can clear it. My CAD updated. Call cleared. Resolved. The woman screamed. The line went dead. I stared at the screen, hands shaking. The units disappeared. No trail, no history. The incident locked itself and archived. At 2:19 a.m., another call came in. Same number. Same address, I answered with a dry mouth. 911? What's your emergency? Her voice was steady again. They're already on the way, she said. Story 14, you already sent them. I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for 9 years. That's long enough to recognize patterns. How panic sounds different from shock. How a fake emergency always has too much detail. And how real fear usually comes out, clipped, unfinished, like the caller is conserving breath without realizing it. This call didn't sound like fear at first. It sounded relieved. It came in at 2:17 a.m. Same as most of the ones people never forget. Residential line. No any anomalies, no routing errors. Just a clean hit on my console. I answered the way I always do. 911? What's the address of your emergency? There was a pause. Then a man said, calm but tense, you already sent them. I stopped typing. That may be, sir, but I still need you to tell me your address. Another pause. I could hear breathing, steady but shallow. They're outside. 2 cars. You sent them. I checked my CAD screen. No open calls matching his line. No pending units anywhere near his exchange. Sir, I said, keeping my voice neutral. I don't show any officers dispatched yet. What's your address? This time he hesitated longer. That's weird. Sir, they were here. I saw them pull up. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What did you call about? Someone shifted on his end. I heard fabric, maybe a jacket brushing a chair. I didn't call yet. I was about to. That's when my stomach tightened. Okay, I said slowly. Let's start from the beginning. What's happening at your location? Another breath. There's someone in my backyard. I marked suspicious person. Possible trespass, and opened the dispatch window. Are they trying to enter your home? No, he said. They're just standing there, by the fence. They haven't moved. Can you see them clearly? No, it's dark. But I can tell they're there. I asked him to describe what he saw. He couldn't. Not height, not clothing, not direction of movement. Just the certainty that someone was there. While he spoke, I glanced again at the unit map. 2 patrol cars were now showing on his street. They weren't assigned. They weren't active. They were just there. Gray icons. No unit numbers. No call association. I assumed it was a refresh error and forced a manual update. They stayed. Sir, I said, keeping my voice level, you mentioned officers arrived. Can you see them now? Yes. Where are they positioned? One in front of the house, one across the street. Can you see the officers themselves? No. Are the lights on? No. But I know it's police. How do you know? Another pause. They were parked the way police park. That answer bothered me more than it should have. I opened a secondary channel and contacted my supervisor, flagged the screen. She leaned over my station, frowned. Who dispatched those? I didn't, I said. Neither did night shift. She tried to click into the units. There was nothing to open. Meanwhile, the caller's voice lowered. They're not moving. Sir, I said, I still need your address. He finally gave it. Clean, valid. Single-family residence, quiet neighborhood. I dispatched real units this time. 2 marked patrol cars from the nearest sector. As soon as I did, the 2 gray icons vanished. The caller exhaled sharply. There they go. Who? I asked. The first ones. They just left. Did they drive away? No, he said. They were just not there anymore. I heard sirens faintly in the background now. Real ones approaching. That's the officers I just sent, I told him. They're arriving now. There was silence on the line. Then he said very quietly, they looked the same. The responding officers arrived, cleared the perimeter. No one in the yard. No signs of forced entry. No neighbors reporting anything unusual. I stayed on the line until they knocked and made contact. Before I disconnected, I asked him one last question. When you saw the first 2 cars, I said, what were you doing? He thought about it. I was standing at the window, he said, trying to decide if I should call you. After the call ended, I pulled the audio log. The timestamp showed something impossible. The caller's first sentence, you already sent them, was logged 4 seconds before the call officially connected. No dropped packets, no system lag. Just 4 seconds of recorded audio with no call attached to it. My supervisor told me to document it as a system error. The officers told me nothing like that had ever happened on their end. But 3 nights later, at 2:17 a.m., a different call came in. Different number, different address. First words out of the caller's mouth, "Don't send them again. They already came once." And this time when I checked the map, the gray cars were already waiting. Story 15. You already sent them. I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for almost 12 years. Long enough to know the rhythm of panic. Long enough to tell the difference between real fear and people who think they're afraid. This call didn't fit either category. It came in at 2:17 a.m., same as the others that always seem to stick with you. The line opened clean. No static. No background noise. Just breathing. Slow. Controlled. Like the caller was listening to me before I spoke. 911, what's your emergency? There was a pause. Then a woman said, very calmly, "Why are they still outside?" I checked my screen. No open incidents tied to her number. No active units nearby. "Mom, I don't show any officers dispatched to your address yet. Can you tell me what's happening?" Another pause, longer this time. "You already sent them," she said. "They've been there for a while." I felt that familiar tightening in my chest, the one you get when something doesn't line up but you don't know why yet. "Okay," I said, keeping my voice even. "Can you describe who you're seeing?" She didn't answer right away. "They're not knocking," she said finally. "They're just standing at the end of the driveway." I pulled up the map and asked for her address. She gave it without hesitation. The system auto-filled, and then did something I've only seen a handful of times. It duplicated. Same address appeared twice. 2 incident cards, both empty, both time-stamped 2:17 a.m. I blinked, refreshed the screen. They were still there. "Mom," I said, "I'm going to send officers to check this out." She let out a small, confused laugh. "But they're already there," she said again. "You told me to stay inside." I did. My fingers hovered over the dispatch keys. "I didn't say that, Mom." "Yes," she replied. "You did. A few minutes ago. You said don't open the door even if they knock." I hadn't. I would have remembered. That phrasing isn't in any script. I checked the call log. No previous inbound calls from her number. No outgoing callbacks. No radio traffic tied to her address. "Can you see them right now?" I asked. "Yes. How many?" 2. That matched the duplicated unit icons now faintly ghosting on my CAD map. Unlabeled, no call signs. Just silhouettes where units should be. "Are they in marked vehicles?" I asked. Another pause. "I don't think so," she said. "The cars are dark. No lights on. But I can hear radios." My mouth went dry. "What are they saying?" "They're not talking," she said. "They're listening." I dispatched a real unit. Loud, deliberate, by the book. As soon as I hit send, the duplicated incident cards vanished. So did the phantom unit icons. The woman gasped. "They're leaving," she said quickly. "They're walking back to the cars." "Stay on the line with me," I said. "My officers are en route." She didn't respond. I heard footsteps, gravel, a car door closing, then silence. "Mom, Mom, can you hear me?" Her voice came back softer now. "They're gone," she said. "But your officers aren't here yet?" I checked the GPS. She was right. My units were still 3 minutes out. When they arrived, the house was secure. No signs of forced entry. No vehicles nearby. No neighbors reported seeing anything. The woman answered the door, shaken but unharmed. She told the officers exactly what she'd told me, including something she hadn't said on the call. She said the first dispatcher told her, "If they ask to come inside, don't answer. If they say they're police, look at their hands. Real officers don't wait in the dark." There is no dispatcher on my shift who talks like that. There was no recording of the earlier call. No metadata. No ghost audio. Nothing. Just one unanswered question I still can't explain. Because when I pulled the archived system snapshot for 2:17 a.m., it showed 2 dispatchers logged in under my ID, both active, both sending nothing, both listening. And every time I work nights now, When the phone rings at 2:17, I wait to hear the words, "You already sent them," because I'm not sure anymore who them really is. Story 16. You already sent them. I've worked dispatch long enough to know when a caller is trying to control the conversation. They rush you. They repeat themselves. They try to anchor you to a version of events before you can verify anything. This caller didn't do that. She waited. The call came in at 2:17 a.m. A time that doesn't mean anything officially, but every dispatcher has a time like that. The hour when the floor goes quiet enough that the smallest sound feels amplified. I answered. 911. What's the address of your emergency? There was a pause. Not hesitation. Calibration. Then she said softly, "You already sent them." I didn't respond right away. I checked the call header. Clean line, no routing flags. Ani present but Ali still populating. "Mom," I said, "I haven't dispatched anyone yet. I need your address." She exhaled, like I'd asked her to repeat something obvious. "They're standing at the corner," she said. "By the street light that flickers." I looked at the CAD map. Nothing assigned. No pending calls. No units staged nearby. "I still need the address," I said. Another pause. Longer this time. "Why are you asking again?" she said. "You already know where I am." That phrasing, again, caught my attention. "Mom," I said carefully, "this is our first contact." She didn't argue. "That's not what you said before," she replied. I asked her what she meant. "You told me to stay inside," she said. "You said not to look at them too long." I stopped typing. "That isn't something we say." "What exactly did I tell you?" I asked. She thought about it. "You said real officers don't wait," she said, "and that if they were still there after a minute I should call back." My call log showed nothing. No previous inbound, no callbacks, no abandoned calls. "Ma'am," I said, "can you see them right now?" "Yes." "How many?" 3. That number didn't sit right. 2 is common. 1 is common. 3 almost never is. "Are they in vehicles?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "But they didn't arrive together." I checked AVL. Still nothing. "What are the vehicles?" I asked. "Marked or unmarked?" "They don't have lights on," she said. "But I can hear radios. They sound like yours." My skin prickled. "What are they doing?" I asked. "They're waiting," she said. "Like they're not sure if they're supposed to come closer yet." I flagged my supervisor and opened a new incident. Before I could dispatch, my CAD updated on its own. 3 unit icons appeared at the edge of her street. No unit numbers. No officer IDs. Status: unseen. My supervisor leaned in. "Who sent those?" "I didn't," I said. She tried to click one. Nothing opened. On the phone, the woman whispered, "They moved." "Yes, you did," she replied. "You said to wait until the call connected." My console chimed. Call timer reset. Back to 00. I felt my pulse in my ears. "Mom," I said, forcing calm. "I'm dispatching officers now. Stay on the line." She laughed quietly. "That's what you said last time." I keyed the radio hard and dispatched real units, loud and clear, over open channel. The moment I did, the 3 unlabeled unit icons vanished. The woman gasped. "They're leaving," she said. "They don't like it when you do that." "Who is they?" I asked. There was a sound then, faint but unmistakable. A car door closing. Another. A third. "Mom," I said. "Are they driving away?" I said. "Are they driving away?" "No," she said. "They're just not here anymore." The real units arrived minutes later. They cleared the area. No vehicles, no people, no signs of anything unusual. The woman answered the door shaken but unharmed. She told the officers the same thing she told me, except for one detail she hadn't mentioned on the phone. She said the first dispatcher, the one before me, ended the call by saying, "If you hear them say your name, hang up immediately." I pulled the audio. There was no earlier call, but the system log showed something I still don't understand. At 2:16:58, 1 second before her call officially connected, an outbound transmission was logged from my console. No audio attached. No destination number. Just a note. Dispatch advisory. Sent I don't work alone anymore. and when callers tell me help is already there, I don't correct them. I just ask one question. Are they waiting? Because if they are, it usually means someone already answered. Story 17. You already sent them. I've learned that when a caller starts with certainty, something is already wrong. People in real emergencies are unsure. They ask questions. They wait for confirmation. This caller didn't. The call came in at 2:17 a.m. I noticed the time because the shift change log had just auto-saved, and the floor was quiet enough to hear the HVAC cycle. I answered. 911. What's the address of your emergency? There was a pause. Then a woman said, evenly, you already sent them. I didn't correct her right away. I checked the header. Wireless call, clean routing, no flags. Ani populated, Ali still spinning. Mom, I said, I don't show any units dispatched yet. What's your address? Another pause. Shorter. They're across the street, she said. In the driveway with the broken mailbox. I typed nothing. I looked at the CAD map instead. No open incidents, no units staged anywhere near her cell sector. I still need the address, I said. She sighed, not impatient. Confused. Why do you keep asking? She said, you already had it. Had it when? I asked. When you sent them. I flagged the call and opened a new incident. Mom, I said, keeping my tone steady. Tell me what made you call tonight. I didn't call, she said. I was going to. Then they showed up. That sentence landed wrong. The order mattered. Who showed up? I asked. The officers, she said. 2 of them. They parked where the camera can't see. I glanced at the unit status board. Every patrol unit was accounted for. No one unassigned. No one idle near her sector. Can you describe the vehicles? I asked. They're dark, she said. No light bars on. But I know they're police. How do you know? I asked. She hesitated. Because they're waiting, she said. They didn't knock. They didn't announce. I felt a pressure behind my eyes. Mom, I said, I need you to stay inside. I'm dispatching officers now. That's what you said before, she replied. I stopped typing. Before when? Before you hung up, she said. You told me not to answer the door if they asked. I checked the call log again. Nothing. No abandoned calls. No misroutes. Mom, I said carefully, I haven't hung up on you. She didn't argue. That's not what the line did, she said. My CAD updated on its own. 2 unit icons appeared on her street. No unit numbers. No call association. Status, on scene. I felt my pulse spike. I hadn't dispatched them. I tried to open the unit details. The window wouldn't load. Mom, I said. Are they still outside? Yes, she whispered. They moved closer. Closer to what? I asked. To the door, she said. There where you told them to stand. I didn't tell anyone to stand anywhere, I said. She paused. Yes, you did, she said. You said not to rush it. My screen chimed, call timer reset, back to 00. I flagged my supervisor, who leaned over my shoulder. Who put those units there? She asked. I don't know, I said, on the phone. The woman inhaled sharply. They're looking at the door now, she said. Like they're waiting for permission. I dispatched real units immediately, loud, by protocol. The instant I hit send, the 2 unlabeled unit icons vanished. The woman gasped. They're leaving, she said. They don't like it when you do that. Do what? I asked. Make it official, she said. I heard a sound through the line, gravel shifting, a car door closing. Then silence. Ma'am, I said. They're gone, she said. But your officers aren't here yet. She was right. My units were still minutes out. When they arrived, the street was empty. No vehicles, no people, no signs of activity. The woman answered the door shaken but unharmed. She told the officers the same story, except for one detail she hadn't told me. She said the first dispatcher warned her. If they say they're already sent, don't correct them. Just keep them waiting. There was no first dispatcher, no earlier call, but when I checked the system snapshot for 2:16:59, 1 second before her call connected, there was a single entry under my login. Unit staging. Advised no audio, no destination. No record of who received it. Now when callers tell me help is already there, I don't argue. I just ask one thing. Are they still waiting? Because if they are, it usually means someone answered before I did. Story 18. You already sent them. By the time you've worked dispatch long enough, you stop trusting first impressions. You trust order. Sequence. Cause and effect. Call comes in. You answer. You verify. You send help. This call arrived already finished. It came in at 2:17 a.m. I remember because the previous incident had just been cleared, and the floor had gone quiet in that way that makes every new ring feel louder than it should. I answered. 911. What's the address of your emergency? The woman on the line didn't hesitate. You already sent them, she said. I didn't correct her right away. I checked the header first. Wireless call. Clean signal. On I present. Ollie still loading. Mom? I said. I don't show any units dispatched yet. I need your address. She sounded confused by that. But they're here, she said. They're parked at the end of the block. I looked at the unit board. Every patrol unit was accounted for. No one staged. No one idle near her cell sector. Can you describe who you're seeing? I asked. They're officers, she said. They're standing near the cars. How many? I asked. She paused. 3. That number didn't sit right. It never does. Are the vehicles marked? I asked. No lights, she said. But they didn't hide. That phrasing bothered me, ma'am, I said. I still need your address. Another pause. Why? She asked. You already know where I am. You told them where to wait. My fingers stopped moving. Who told them where to wait? I asked. You did, she said. You said not to block the street. That is not language dispatch uses. I opened a new incident anyway and started typing from scratch. Before I could dispatch, my CAD updated on its own. 3 unit icons appeared on the map. No unit numbers. No officer IDs. Status. Staged. Not en route. Not on scene. Waiting. My heart started to pound. I hadn't touched the keyboard. Mom, I said, keeping my voice steady. Are they still there? Yes, she whispered. They're looking at the house now. I flagged my supervisor, who leaned in. Who staged those? She asked. I didn't, I said. She tried to open the unit details. Nothing loaded. On the phone, the woman inhaled sharply. They moved, she said. Moved where? I asked. Closer, she replied. Like they're checking if they're allowed yet. Allowed to do what? I asked. She didn't answer. My screen chimed. Call timer reset. 0, 0. The woman spoke again. That happened last time too. I swallowed. Last time when? I asked. When you stopped talking, she said, and then started again. I dispatched real units immediately. No hesitation. No quiet channel. The second I hit send, the 3 staged unit icons vanished. The woman gasped. They're leaving, she said. They always leave when you make it official. I heard something faint through the line. Car doors, one after another. Then silence. Ma'am? I said. Are you still with me? Yes, she said. But your officers aren't here yet. She was right. My real units were still 5 minutes out. When they arrived, the street was empty. No vehicles. No people. No neighbors reporting anything unusual. The woman answered the door shaken but unharmed. She told the officers she called because 3 police cars had been sitting outside her house, unmarked, lights off. She said they stood near the vehicles and waited. When asked why she didn't open the door, she gave an answer that made the officer pause. Because the dispatcher told me not to, she said. Later, when I reviewed the system logs, I found something that still doesn't make sense. At 2:16:54, before her call officially connected, there was a system entry, unit staging, advised count. 3 no dispatcher ID, no destination, no audio, just an advisory that something was supposed to wait. Now, when callers tell me help is already there, I don't rush to correct them. I ask one thing instead. Are they staged? Or are they waiting? Because if they're staged, it means someone already decided what happens next. and they're just waiting for permission to start. Story 19. You already sent them after enough years on nights. You stop measuring time by clocks. You measure it by patterns. Which calls come back? Which ones don't? Which ones feel like they've already happened by the time you answer? This one felt finished before it started. The call hit my console at 2:17 a.m. Same minute, same quiet stretch of shift where nothing else moves. I remember thinking, not again, before I even picked up. 911, what's the address of your emergency? The man didn't hesitate. You already sent them, he said. Not relieved, not confused. Certain. I glanced at the CAD, clean. No open incidents, no pending dispatches, unit board steady. Sir, I said, keeping my tone level. I haven't dispatched anyone yet. I need your address. He exhaled through his nose like I'd missed something obvious. They're parked where the road bends, he said. You told them not to block traffic. That phrasing again. Not ours. I still need your address, I said. There was a pause. I could hear faint background noise. Wind, maybe, or leaves brushing something hollow. You had it before, he said. That's why they showed up. When was before? I asked. Just now, he said. Right before you answered. I opened a new incident anyway and started typing from scratch. Sir, I said, tell me what's happening that made you want to call. I didn't want to call, he replied. I wanted to check if they were real. That made my fingers stop. Real how? I asked. They haven't moved, he said. I've been there too long. I checked the unit map again. Nothing. Can you see how many vehicles? I asked. 3, he said. All dark. No markings I can read. 3 again. Are there officers outside the vehicles? I asked. Yes, he said. But they're standing apart. Like they're not together. My CAD refreshed on its own. 3 unit icons appeared on a curved section of road near the edge of town. No unit numbers, no call signs. Status, hold. I hadn't seen that status used in years. My pulse picked up. Sir, I said carefully, are they still there? Yes, he whispered. They just turned toward the house. I flagged my supervisor. She leaned in, eyes narrowing. Who staged those units? She asked. I didn't, I said. She tried to open one. Nothing loaded. On the phone, the man spoke again. They're closer now, he said. They're waiting for something. For what? I asked. For you, he said. The call timer reset to 00. My supervisor swore under her breath. That happened before, the man said. Right before you told them to wait. I didn't tell anyone anything, I said. You did, he replied. You said to hold position until the call connected. That wasn't a phrase dispatch uses. I dispatched real units immediately. No hesitation, full protocol. The moment I hit send, the 3 hold icons vanished. The man inhaled sharply. They're leaving, he said. They always leave when you do that. I hear faint sounds through the phone. Gravel shifting. Car doors closing. Engines that didn't quite start. Then silence. Sir? I said. Are you still with me? Yes, he said, but your officers aren't here yet. He was right. They were still minutes out. When they arrived, the road was empty. No vehicles, no people, no tire marks where 3 cars should have been parked. The man answered the door shaken but unharmed. He told the officers he called because 3 police vehicles had been sitting near his house for several minutes. Lights off. Engines quiet. When they asked why he didn't approach them, he said something that made the officer look back at his partner. Because the dispatcher told me to wait until the call went through, he said. Later, I pulled the system logs. At 2:16:56, 4 seconds before the call officially connected, there was a single entry. Unit hold, advised count. 3, no dispatcher ID. No destination. No audio. Just a hold order. I don't argue with callers anymore when they say help is already there. I ask a different question now. Are they holding, or are they watching? Because if they're watching, it usually means someone already decided where to stand, and they're just waiting for the call to catch up. Story 20. You already sent them by year 10 on nights. You stop assuming the phone rings because something just happened. Sometimes it rings because something already did. The call came in at 2:17 a.m. I noticed the minute because the console clock had just rolled over, and the room had gone quiet in that way that makes you aware of your own breathing. No radio traffic, no active incidents, just the low hum of equipment and the glow of screens. I answered. 911? What's the address of your emergency? The man on the line didn't pause. You already sent them, he said, not relieved, not confused. Certain, like he was correcting a mistake I'd made. I checked the header. Clean line, wireless, Ani present, Ali still resolving. Sir, I said, I haven't dispatched anyone yet. I need your address. There was a faint sound on his end, fabric moving, maybe a curtain being pushed aside. They're parked across from the mailbox, he said, where the street bends. I looked at the unit board. Every patrol unit accounted for. No one staged, no one idle near his sector. I still need the address, I said. He exhaled slowly. You had it already, he said. That's how they knew where to stop. When did I have it? I asked. Before you answered, he said. I opened a new incident and started typing from scratch. Sir, I said, tell me what's happening right now. I didn't call because something happened, he replied. I called because nothing changed. That sentence stuck. What do you mean? I asked. They've been there too long, he said. They're not doing anything. How many vehicles? I asked. 4, he said. That made my fingers still. 4 is not a number you hear by accident. Are they marked units? I asked. No lights, he said. No lights, he said. No decals I can see. But I know they're police. How do you know? I asked. They're parked the way you told them to, he said. I hadn't told anyone anything. My CAD refreshed on its own. 4 unit icons appeared along the curved section of his street. No unit numbers. No officer IDs. Status. Wait. I hadn't seen that status in years. My stomach tightened. Sir, I said carefully. Are they still there? Yes, he whispered. They're closer now. Closer to what? I asked. To the house, he said. They're where you said to wait. I didn't say anything like that, I said. You did, he replied. You said to hold until the call caught up. The call timer reset to 00. I flagged my supervisor. She leaned in, eyes narrowing at the screen. Who put units in wait? She asked. I don't know, I said. She tried to open one of the icons. The window didn't load. On the phone, the man spoke again. Quieter now. They're watching the windows. Which windows? I asked. All of them, he said. But not at the same time. I dispatched real units immediately. Full protocol, no hesitation. The instant I hit send, the 4 wait icons vanished. The man inhaled sharply. They're leaving, he said. They always leave when you do that. I heard sounds through the phone. Gravel shifting, doors closing, engines that never quite turned over. Then silence. Sir, I said, are you still with me? Yes, he said, but your officers aren't here yet. He was right. They were still minutes out. When the real units arrived, the street was empty. No vehicles. No people. No marks where 4 cars should have been waiting. The man answered the door, shaken but unharmed. He told the officers he called because 4 police vehicles had been sitting near his house. Lights off, engines quiet, watching. When asked why he didn't approach them, he said something that made one of the officers look back toward his cruiser. Because the dispatcher told me not to, he said. Later, I pulled the system logs. At 2:16:55, 5 seconds before the call officially connected, there was a single entry. Unit wait, advised count. 4, no dispatcher ID. No destination, no audio. Just a waiting order. I don't tell callers they're mistaken anymore when they say help is already there. I ask one question instead. Are they waiting, or are they done waiting? Because once the system stops waiting, it usually means the call finally caught up to the decision. Before I end this, I need to say one thing. Every call you heard tonight was marked resolved. Every unit cleared. Every report closed. That's how it looks on paper. But if you've ever worked dispatch, you know the system doesn't measure everything. It doesn't record the pauses that last too long. It doesn't log the breathing that keeps going after the line goes dead. It doesn't explain why some calls come back, even when there's no one left to call. I stopped answering certain numbers. I stopped wearing my headset at home. I stopped trusting the timestamps. Because some nights, the console lights up on its own. No caller ID. No address. Just an open line. And somewhere in the static I can still hear it, waiting for someone to respond. If you're listening to this late at night, and your phone rings for no reason, don't answer right away. Sometimes the call isn't for help. Sometimes it's just checking if you're still there. I'll see you in the next one, if the line stays quiet.